Hello, everyone. Gary Rays with Remax Integrity, and I have the pleasure of introducing to you Miss Stacy Bracy, and she works at First American Title, and which is better known as FATCO for those that are in the business. First American is a title and escrow company. Would you explain what that is?
Yeah, so we're a neutral third party and we help both realtors, buyers, sellers, lenders. So we're going to act as a kind of the intermediary party that's going to will help with the closing. We're going to take your earnest money at the beginning of the process and we'll hold that, and then you'll have an escrow officer that's going to reach out. She or he will open title and escrow on your behalf. We're going to do a judgment search on the property. We're going to make sure there are any outstanding liens or judgments. We're going to make sure that the lane is free to be purchased.
So you started to say the words you're going to do. You're going to take earnest money. So earnest money is, if a person is purchasing a home, they usually put down a little bit to say, yes, I'm really earnest about buying that home. So that money goes into your accounts and you hold that until the transaction has ended, and that earnest money is part of the down payment. Is that accurate?
Correct. It will get applied towards the property.
Then you talked about, and we clear title, but what does that mean, clearing title?
It means that there aren't any outstanding judgments or liens against the property, so that the next person that purchases it was, it's clear for them to not.
There's no judgments against the home.
Correct.
That's a big deal, by the way. When you purchase a home, you want to make sure you own the home and there's no other people that have judgments against the home that you don't know about. It is your responsibility then to make sure that that is perfectly clear and you make the seller pay off any judgments that's against the home. Is that accurate?
Tax liens, judgments, any of it. It all has to be cleared before we can then convey it to the next person.
That's wonderful. You also use the term neutral third party. And what that really means is you're not working for the buyer, for the seller. You're equally working for both.
Correct.
There's no favoritism whatsoever. So that's really an important ingredient.
Absolutely.
So they come in and they're going to go to you. They've got the earnest money in, and then you guys are behind the scenes working, making sure everything is done correctly, everything's paid up. Then comes time for the buyer to throw a whole bunch of down payment money. Tell me about confidentiality. Tell me about the security of that big lump sum that comes into you.
Well, security is very, very important, and that's one of the things I'm really proud about First American. We do have a secure portal that we operate in, and we have our own bank, so that separates us from all the other title companies. So makes me super excited, because with wire fraud being what it is in the industry, our wiring instructions never change. It's First American Trust. So from the beginning to the end, that's where your money would go. There wouldn't be anybody calling you and telling you to wire your money elsewhere. It would be going to First American Trust. So,
Stacy, you have a good point, because this has happened in the past. And what she's saying is, when it comes time for you to prepare your final down payment, you will actually physically, perhaps even walk into your office to make sure that no one else has said, "Hey, send your money to such and such," because they can match what your picture looks like on internet, the First American Title, and it may or may not be First American Title.
There are lots of.
So you have a good security system.
We do.
That's very important. My last question, Stacy, because I know you guys, you do so much for so many people and you do a lot of business. What is a typical fee that a client gets charged, and how is that dispersed? Because isn't there two different fees, one for the seller and one for the buyer? So I know a lot of closing costs that a buyer has to come into ahead of time is a full year's worth of taxes they pay ahead, and a full year of insurance that they pay ahead. But they also have something called escrow fees that they have to pay. There's a small charge for that to pay for your services. What are some of those fees that you would charge?
So title and escrow would have an escrow fee. You would have title insurance fee. If you're the seller and there was a lien that we were paying off, you would have sometimes a reconveyance fee. There's a government fee that can be charged. It's a nominal amount. And then there's a handful of others. outside signing fees. Say you didn't sign in our office, we needed mobile notary.
Sure, mobile notaries.
Yeah. So, but those are the main fees that you'll be charged.
Well, so they would be around, I'm just guessing, around the $1,200 range-ish. And you don't have to be exact, of course. It's not going to be a big high $5,000, $10,000 fee.
Not for your escrow fee.
Good.
And your title insurance is going to be based on your purchase price. So that is a sliding scale. But again, it's regulated. So everywhere you go, your title insurance should be the same from title company to title company. So.
Good to know. So Stacy, if somebody wanted to ask you more detailed questions about how escrow works, they would be able to get a hold of you, and it doesn't cost them anything to call you.
It does not. Yeah, they would be able to call our office here in Eugene, 541-484-2900, and we have a handful of lovely escrow officers, and they would all love to assist you. So.
Well, and we've worked with Stacy in the past, and she's wonderful. So she's full of information. She's an easy person to contact should you want some more information. So until then, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate you coming in, and we'll talk soon. Again, Gary Ray's RE/MAX Integrity. You take care.